everyone. So I'm Melania and this is Adrian, and we're going to talk about gender equality and intergenerational equity. So we wanted to start by just quickly acknowledging the lack of inclusive language that exists within the entire framework, but specifically within SDG 5. Although this framework is set, we want to further strengthen gender inclusive language going forward. It is critical that anyone who self-identifies as a woman and non-binary individuals who face gender depression are considered while implementing Goal 5. So the importance of intergenerational equity and gender equality arises because of the connection and the inseparable nature of the two. When we talk about gender equality for all women and girls, we're not talking about gender equality specifically for women over the age of 50 or specifically for girls under the age of 10. We're talking about gender equality for all people who face gender discrimination.
So this language of intergenerational equity is embedded into not only the overarching goal, but also its targets and indicators. And for SDG 5, the United Nations has defined 9 targets and 14 indicators. And within this global indicator framework, intergenerational equity is referred to in these targets here. So target 5.1, which focuses on ending discrimination against all women and girls. And target 5.5, which focuses on equal opportunities at all levels of decision making. And target 5.8, which focuses on the need for women's economic inclusion. And finally, target 5.C, which focuses on increasing enforceable legislation to promote gender equality even further. And by focusing on engagement and empowerment of women and girls, these targets really work to distribute equity amongst current and future generations.
So in Canada, we see this through programs such as the Calgary Women's Centre. Stemming from systemic sexism, racism, poverty, and injustice, young girls often face low self-esteem, mental health concerns, violence, restricted gender norms, and a variety of other issues. However, young girls are also extremely strong. They're courageous and they're resourceful. So in order to address this issue, I used to volunteer at the Calgary Women's Centre, and they address this by creating a space that recognizes and builds upon girls' existing leadership and activism skills. So their girls program is available for girls from grades 5 to 12. It promotes confidence through facilitating an introduction through activism and social change. This impacts future generations because as we raise stronger women and girls, we are creating a more inclusive society. And this program in particular, it is completely free of cost. So food, transportation, all of that is included, which makes it as accessible as possible. And this is critical because we not only want to promote intergenerational equity through Goal 5, but we also want to promote an intersectional gender equality. And the Calgary Women's Center's Girls Program is a very clear example of how us women and girls can all work together in order to build the future that we want.
So based on our case study that Melania has described here, it is really, really clear that the Calgary Women's Centre is working really hard to address the goals and the targets within SDG 5, and it points out the long-term advantages of capacity building and investing resources in these women and girls, such as us, who may encounter intersectional oppression in many facets of their lives. And in fact, the promotion of intergenerational equity through this girls program furthers all of the targets and indicators by developing skills such as self-esteem, leadership skills, and empowering them so that they are able to have critical thinking skills in their future so that they can think more clearly about systems of power in their lives. Power sharing between generations also means that young girls and women can resist power structures around them. And they can form strong relationships between each other so that they can support each other as friends and also develop confidence and resourcefulness to reach out to others for help. And so this means that there is a really direct and powerful connection between gender equality and intergenerational equity. As more of these targets are met, this means that we improve intergenerational equity by advancing the rights and opportunities for women and girls such as ourselves.
So, because us women and girls are so central in all 17 goals, it is critical that we push Goal 5 both within Canada and abroad. So we want to stress to the Canadian government a recommitment to Indigenous Reconciliation. Depending where you're from, there might be varying levels of knowledge with this, but in Canada, Indigenous women are some of the most marginalized in society, and that is absolutely unacceptable. So this stems from both a history as well as ongoing colonialism, systemic racism, intergenerational trauma. And although the Canadian government has been talking a lot about reconciliation, not enough progress has been made.
So the recent publication of Canada's Agenda 2030 National Strategy just was recently published, and it really stresses the need to center disadvantaged populations, which includes Indigenous communities as well as women. However, including this in the agenda is definitely not enough, and we want to push the government of Canada to further commit through strong action and having strong accountability measures for the future to productively advance this agenda. And this is really essential as we move forwards with Agenda 2030 so that ultimately no one is left behind.